Okay, so for the newbies and for the oldies, because this is only our second virtual immersion, so this is a new format. The purpose of the virtual immersions is to immerse you in what you are creating in the next few months. So these are seasonal, quarterly immersions. So we are planning for the 3 months ahead. And it's really more than planning, it's about tuning into, well, what are you creating? What are you bringing forth in the next few months? And what are the 3 themes of those months, those 3 cycles for you to tune into? So these virtual immersions are super interactive. You are welcome to interrupt me at any time, ask questions in the chat, and please share your feedback and your experiences and answers to the questions you'll be asked throughout. So have your notebooks ready, because there are hands-on exercises, questions for you to tune into what you're creating in the next few months. And so you'll be able to tune in as we go. The idea is that we have more time than a usual webinar or workshop. We actually have 4 hours, a space of 4 hours with an hour in the middle, to give credit, give enough attention to our soul work. We often don't take enough time to do this, take ourselves away from all the other stuff going on, to get a feel for, in our bodies, what is coming next. So we're integrating as we go. That's why this is hands-on. If you have the Natural Cycle Planner, if you've already downloaded yours, you'll want that handy as well. If you haven't used Zoom before, the chat button is at the bottom of the screen. Just click that and type away. And without further ado, we're going to start. You can ask me questions in the chat anytime, or if you have a question you want to ask verbally, just say so, and we'll unmute you. Okay. Let's go. So as I mentioned, this is a quarterly do where we all come together as our little tribe from around the world, all in the same frequency of doing business by natural principles, the slow way, the organic way, the integrated way, where we're actually in tune with the bigger picture of what we're creating on this planet in service to her and each other. So if you haven't already, all of these dates, these virtual immersions, are in the Google Calendar. So Business by Nature has its own Google Calendar with all the dates, and also the starts of the cycles and the moon cycles, all that stuff is in there as well. So that link is in the email that you receive when you sign up, and it's also in the email that you'll receive tomorrow with the goodies from today. Okay. Today we have, this is our schedule, same as last time. So we're going to do a bit of an introduction, which is going to help us to tune in to where our business is at right now and what we're sensing is coming forth in the next few months. So you might already have some idea of what you want to create next. You might have no idea. Doesn't matter. We're actually tuning into the body and tuning into the soul of your business to do that. So this is how we'll roll. We'll do a tune in. I'm going to teach for the first cycle, which is Aries. Then we have some integration time with some questions. Then in the middle, we do some nature time, and that's guided time. If you need to have a toilet break, a snack, whatever in that time, that's cool. Or if you just want to go outside and commune, that's great, but I will be giving you some questions to do that. Then we'll move into the final 2 cycles. Okie doke. So yes, the Natural Cycle Planner for this year, this natural year, which started on the 20th of March, is now available. And it is different to last year's because it now includes the creator types due to popular demand. If you attended the, hang on, where is it? If you attended the Natural Creator Plan workshop earlier this year, then you'll be familiar with this diagram. This is how we plan by nature, including the creator types and the zodiac. So the 12 signs of the zodiac. So if you haven't done this workshop, don't worry. I'm just referring to it. For those who have, this will make a lot more sense. Just on the creator types. So if you know your creator types, your primary creator types, your balancer types, if you don't worry. You're welcome to find out what they are. You need to book in to have your creator constitution done for that. But if you do know, just write down what it is that your role is according to your creator type. So if you're a snow creator, then your role is to connect the tribe. If you are a mountain creator, your role is to climb the peak. This is the simplest possible way of viewing your purpose, your role, your business, your soul work. This is what it all boils down to, is who you are as a soul in a body. Your body is your vehicle for your purpose, your soul gifts. So when we understand the body, that's what the creator types are based on. We get an instant insight into why you're here, and also how you create by nature. So everything that you plan comes down to this. Everything's got to come back to the body. If it doesn't come back to the body, then it's hovering above the earth. It's not quite landing. Danny, are we doing our 12-month plan today since the natural year's just finished? Absolutely. Yes, we are totally doing that today. Intentions, seeds, milestones, all that stuff. Whip up a storm. So is that you, Danny? You reckon you're a whirlwind? Yeah. Cool. So write this down, top of the page. This is where it's at. If you know your 2 primary types, then write them down. Okay, so this is what the new planner looks like. So I'm going to be referring to the new planner and the format today, so that to help you actually work through how to use it. As you can see, the bottom here on the right-hand side are the 2 creator types, depending on your hemisphere, like your season that you're in right now is what you want to look at here. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're in autumn, you're moving into lake. Lava is for northern hemisphere. Why are we doing this? Because the zodiac, the star signs, are interplanetary. They're up there in the stars in the solar system. On Earth, however, we operate by the seasons, and that's where the creator types come in. So the zodiac, the star signs are universal. They apply to everyone on Earth. At the Earth level, depends where you live and what seasons you're in as to what you're tuning into. So Aries in the northern hemisphere has a lava flavor, so it's double fire. In the southern hemisphere, Aries has a lake flavor, which is more subdued. So this is where we start to overlay cycle upon cycle, so that you're getting a fuller picture, more comprehensive view of where you sit with the cycles. If you don't know the creator types, just ignore them. Or if it's overwhelming, just ignore them. Go with one cycle at a time. So for you, Linda, this is all new. So just go with the zodiac, and that's what we're focusing on today anyway. Any questions? Pop them in the chat. So we're also going to be referring to these 3 sheets today from the planner. If you've downloaded your planner. If you haven't downloaded the planner, don't worry, because you can still just write this stuff down in your notebook. This is just as a guide. So these 3 sheets, the first one in the front here is for your 12 cycle intention and how you're going to time your activities for the year according to the seasons. The one to the left here at the back is breaking those creations down, everything that you're creating throughout the year, the milestones, the timing of them, and who your co-creators are. We're going to go through this later, just giving you a preview. And this one on the right here is for the strategies that apply to your business. how you're creating, what works for you and the stage of your business. So that's a little insight into what they are, because that's a new addition to the Natural Cycle Planner this year. Glad you like it, Danny. Thank you. Cool. Okay, let's tune in, folks. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the soul of your business, the soul of your business is just an energetic representation of what you're creating in the physical world. Like humans each have a soul and a body. Your business has a soul, an energetic representation of that business, of that creation, and it has a physical identity. So when you're working at both levels, just like if you're tuning into your own soul and what your soul wants to create, when you work that way with your business, things get easier. People ask me all the time, Natalie, how come you don't look stressed because you have your own business, and how do you manage your time? Why does everything flow the way that it does, and how are you still going after 5 years? I get questions like that a lot, like, how does that actually work? This here is one of the major changes that I made early on that allowed me to continue, because I tell you what, after my first year in business, I wanted to abort because I was doing it the old hard way, in isolation, and not feeling like I really knew which way was up, and I was having to push and force. Hands up if you know that feeling. When business gets hard, it's shitty, and you go, what the hell am I doing? I'm gonna get a job. Right, everyone's on the same page there. Cool. So when we open up to co-creating our business with something greater and go, wow, so just like a baby coming into the physical world, it has a soul, it has an intention, it has a blueprint, it has a higher purpose. What if we treated our business the same way? So what is going on with your business? And I call it your business tree, because that's how we roll in business by nature. Everything comes back to the tree, how a tree grows, the stages of a tree growing. So if you close your eyes right now and you ask to be shown your business tree, what is the energetic representation of your business? What does it look like? And if you don't have a business per se, ask, what does your creation look like? What does your soul work look like? Maybe you're bringing something new in at this time. What does it look like in energetic form? What does it feel like? If you're seeing a tree, what sort of tree is it? How are its roots? Is it a skinny tree? Does it have long roots? What about its branches and its leaves? Is it a full canopy? Does it have big banana leaves? What sort of tree is your business? And if you want to, you can actually do a little drawing. Right now, you're just taking note of what it looks like, the little nuances that you notice about it. Once you can get a sense of what it looks like and feels like, you can actually start to go, what am I noticing about this tree? Are there any imbalances? Are there anything that stands out? Like, does it have fruit on the tree? Or is it lopsided? Or is there a branch missing or falling down? What are you noticing about your tree? If you feel like sharing in the chat, go for it. Let's hear about the trees in the group. Oh, you got an oak tree, Denise. Aren't you lucky? What does it look like? Is it perfectly formed?
Oh, am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, right. It is perfectly formed. It's gorgeous because I love everything asymmetrical.
Yeah, right.
No, there is definitely, yeah, the branch is extending way too out. I think it's, yeah, it's
All right.
overcompensating. That's the first thing.
So top heavy, you mean?
Yeah, but it has a very, very wide trunk. So the trunk is very, very strong, but there's over an extension. It just feels like it's extending out too much. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
And what's your interpretation of that? What does that mean to you?
I think for me, I feel I have to be conscious of where I overextend out of myself. That's probably the biggest thing. Just keep coming back to the solid trunk and making sure that's filled before I go into disaster.
And
But
so
it feels overwhelming though. It feels like, wow, this is bigger than what I thought.
you've got lots of branches going in different directions and
Yes, there's a few. Yes.
yeah, right.
A few thousand, yeah.
Yeah. Cool, thank you. So you get a sense of, from Denise's example, how you interpret your tree, what's really going on, what is it trying to show you? Nikki's got a shallow root system that's spreading wide but not deep. That's interesting. Half a trunk that feels solid. Okay, cool. So this is where you want to get, this is really good to date this drawing, because in 3 months' time, we do this every immersion at the start. How has your tree changed? So you might already have a drawing from last immersion that you can refer to. It's really good to see the evolution of your business tree. Rachel's a seed in compact soil and looser soil on top. The sun is shining. Of course the sun is shining, Rachel. You're a sun. Always sunny with you around. Interesting. So it's a seed though. So it's just starting out. That makes sense for you. Jody, spindly eucalypt with bare roots. That's totally different from last time. Full branches and leafy green. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's wilting a bit, is it? Right, that might just be temporary for today, hey? Cool, Helen's got a solid sapling. Well, that's good. I remember yours from last time too, Helen. That's progress. Joy, a dogwood tree. Cool. You got flowers. Aren't you lucky? So something's fruiting, something's flowering for you. It's ripe timing. Tracy's got a Mari tree. Oh, aren't you lucky? They're beautiful. Very strong. Linda, small tree with a solid trunk, 2 good branches and fruit. You got fruit? That's great. Cool. Well, fruit, unless it's rotting, is always a good sign. So Janet's got a screw pine. I don't know what that looks like, but shedding leaves. Ah, cool. Shedding leaves. What does that mean to you, Janet? Danielle, much taller than last time. Cool. Not skinny. Roots look good. Okay, so this is a great cross-section of trees here. Thank you for sharing. So this is where you want to be looking at what's going well, like what feels really strong in your tree. If we look at the root system, we look at the trunk, the branches, the canopy and fruit. What's going well, what's strong and vital. And then what perhaps needs your attention. There'll always be something in there. It's trying to always communicate with you, show you something. So just write those down, because we're going to use this wisdom when we tap into our 12 cycle intention. Okay. If you want to share in the chat, feel free to share what you see your business tree needs most right now? What attention does it need? What part of the tree? Okay. What are you creating in the next 3 months? Maybe you already have some idea, some ideas, some creations on the horizon. Just write them down now. Get them out of your head on paper. Just notes, nothing detailed. If you have nothing, then leave it blank. You don't know what you're creating? Cool. I love being in that mode. Means you're in full co-creation with the universe. No agenda. Helen, soil has been a bit neglected, needs tending. Yeah, cool. Soil, fertilization. We'll see if there's a theme coming through here. Okay, so your intention for this immersion today, looked at your business tree. We also just, and this is very simple, high level, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What major change or upgrade are you calling in? And what area, activity, or issue would you like to have closure on? So reflecting on the last 3 months, what feels like it's ending now? What would you like to leave behind? And if you want to share, go ahead. What are you calling in? What are you leaving behind? Let's inspire each other. So for me, what I'm calling in is more co-creation, not being a solo operator in the same way that I've been for 5 years. That's a major upgrade. And of course, the flip side of that being doing it the hard solo way. All of this is going to help you create your 12 cycle intention. Okay. Feel free to share what you're calling in, what you're leaving behind. Okay, all right. So with the creator types, they all align with the 12 signs of the zodiac. So this just gives the reason I'm going through these at the start of each cycle. So the Aries cycle pertains to lava. This gives you a embodied sense of what Aries might look like in the physical, in a human being, someone showing that Aries inclination, that energy of Aries. So lava, their creative power, all of the creator types have a particular creative power. Lava is about courage and overcoming fear to create revolution. So Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, they are the starters, they are the visionaries, they're the ones who get the ball rolling, and they don't care what anyone else thinks. Well, theoretically. But if you know an Aries, you would relate to that. So Aries is all about just taking charge and making shit happen, basically. And lava is very much like that too. Lava is the volcano. So the lava is actually breaking through solid rock beneath the surface to resurface the landscape. When that lava reaches the surface, it hardens and becomes completely new ground to walk upon. That is what Aries is doing as well. Aries is creating new ground. It's creating revolution from the start of the natural year. So qualities, courage, leadership, transformation. It's the alchemist because they're basically turning fire, like liquid earth, into solid earth. So they're transforming matter. That's what lava does. So just keeping that in mind as we're going through Aries, this gives you a sense of, okay, these are the qualities that I'm tapping into, that I'm cultivating as I move into this cycle. Cool. All right, so what does Aries mean? It means initiation. It means the start. What are we initiating for this natural year? What is beginning? How are you going to start your year off? What seeds are you going to plant throughout the year? What are you going to start now? This is the shake up, wake up time. So this is where we're really tuning in to what is the revolution you're creating this year with your business. This means looking at the light and shadow of your industry, of the work that you do, what shits you, what lights you up. That is the shake up that you're leading in your industry. People are on this planet mostly asleep. So they're always looking to be woken up. They may resist, but they actually need to be woken up to what they're doing, what they're creating, how they're living, what's wrong with the way that they're living, that they need to be enlightened on. So as a natural creator with your soul work, this is what you're essentially leading for them, is the shake-up. So if you imagine the lava at its core, it's the core of the earth. This is the core of your business, is revolution. Doesn't mean you have to go out there guns blazing, you know, it's not about that. It's actually understanding the core of where you stand in the marketplace. What else is it about? It's about planting seeds. So the way we operate in business by nature is very organic. We don't do massive launches and high stress events like mainstream business. We operate more like farmers who just, you know, spread some seeds at the right time of year, excuse me, a right time of year, and then watch them germinate. They tend to the seeds, but they're working with the earth to see what germinates and when and how, and doing their part in that growth cycle. So Aries is the time for planting seeds. What do I mean by seeds? I mean new creations, new ideas that you have coming later in the year. And of course, those seeds are all linked back to your revolution. What are your offerings that are actually going to help to shake and wake people up? It's the time for setting your direction. So you're setting sail. So, you know, sailing across the seas for the year. So what direction are you going to take? Actually getting really clear on that, because come the rest of the year, the rest of the cycles are not about that anymore. You want to set your direction now, your overall direction for the 12 cycles, and then you just navigate the nuances and the little shifts and changes within that over the course of the year. Taking bold action. So this is something that is often underutilized in business, is actually shocking people, being bold, doing something outside the box, like just doing something no one else would do. So that's what gets you noticed. And when it's linked to a higher purpose and a sense of meaning in your work and your why, that's when it has real impact, when you're really embodying, walking your talk. And remember, in Aries, we're in the birth canal. So birth can be either ecstatic or downright painful, or somewhere in between. So essentially what that means, being in the birth canal, is it's meant to be a little bit uncomfortable. If you're not uncomfortable, then you're not unearthing anything new for this year to come. So find that edge in yourself. As a natural creator, what is the edge? What terrifies you to create next? And how are you going to walk that line and still actually keep moving forward and derive some enjoyment from it? It's all about how you walk that path. Cool. Great. So that's the overview. These are the principles. When you embody the principles of each cycle, it becomes quite natural for you to function in this way throughout the cycle. You don't have to get into your head about, oh my God, what am I doing in Aries? It's like, come back to this. What am I shaking up? What are my seeds? Where am I going? Am I slightly uncomfortable? Cool. All right, I'm on track. So we're stripping it back to basic principles for a reason. So we don't go up here and get all busy. Awesome. All right, making sense? Cool, cool. Let's go. First hands-on exercise. What is your 12 cycle intention? So yes, as Danny said, always onto it. Are we doing your intention today? Here we go. So yes, we want to hear about your revolution this year. We're going to talk about that right now, because your 12 cycle intention is derived from your revolution. So just write down this question now. We're going to tune in a little bit deeper. So here we go, the flag of Aries. Right, this is where we're going. I'm planting my flag. Well, what the hell does that mean? Your flag is where you stand. Where do you stand? Between light and shadow. We are all light and shadow. We stand in the middle, and this is what makes us take a stand against something and for something. If you are all light, like many beautiful spiritual people like to be, then you actually reduce your impact significantly. Not only does it actually make it harder for people to relate to you because you're a saint, but it also means that there's nothing tangible for them to grasp, because they're often walking in the shadow of something and you're trying to take them to the light. So you got to show the light and shadow in yourself. That then gives them something to respond to and go, oh, okay, so that's where she stands. So examples. Shadow. This is why I've created my 12 cycle intention this year, which is all about co-creation, is creating in isolation and for the self. So doing it the hard way on my own, been doing it for 5 years that way. And when you do it on your own in this way, you're creating for the self, not for the tribe, but for the self. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're co-creating with and for the tribe, it means that the effort that you expend doesn't just help you, it helps them. It lifts everyone together. But in order to do that, you have to be linked. You have to actually have a bond, a relationship, a network with those people so that everyone can rise together. This is what I'm creating with True Ecosystem, which some of you know about, and I'll explain later. But right now, the point is, these are two sides of one coin. This is where I stand. The other thing that I'm passionate about this year with my 12 cycle intention is, instead of creating from the mind, creating from the body. I've been banging on about this for years, but now it's really hit the ground level because I'm running in-person events on the land with the Natural Creator Immersions. So taking people out bush, getting them to find the seed in their bodies of what wants to be created next, and then planting it in the earth so it can naturally germinate, rather than having to do it all ourselves, actually working with the earth and with our bodies. So you can see the polarities here, the two sides. What are your sides? That's your question. What are the two sides of your revolution? Basically, in short, that means what gives you the shits right now? What's given you the shits for the last 12 months? And what are you going to do about it? And it can be the way you've been operating. It can be the way you've seen your clients operating. Getting to the guts of it. What is your work really about this year? What are you unearthing? Share it with us in the chat, man. Danny, love it. The business sanctuary was felt into rather than thought. First time this has happened for me. Well, hallelujah, Danny. That is such good news. I love how you are a model for us all in what you're creating and how you're doing it. That is actually a huge achievement. I'm so proud of you and happy for you that that happened for you that way. It's a real breakthrough when it does. Makes my heart sing, actually, when I see people doing this. More of this, please. More of this. Feeling what it is that wants to germinate in you this year. What's in your body? Get out of your head and go, okay, I'm feeling an urge to do what? To create what? What's the baby in your belly? And getting out of your head often means getting out of the money equation. So many people do this. So many people go, oh, they short circuit the urge straight away because they've gone straight into, how can I make money from that? Oh, that's not going to make money. Oh, I haven't seen that done before, or it won't make enough money. So it's kind of like, you know, being pregnant with a child and go, oh, well, I don't want it if it's female. Instead of honoring the creation that is in there and going, okay, so there's something that wants to be birthed. I'm going to work with that and we'll figure out the rest later. Because you know what? I'm not in control. This ain't my baby. This belongs to the earth. We are all earth mothers in service to her. So what are we giving her? What are we bringing through? Joy, your shadow conjuring in my, I love it, conjuring in my isolated hobbit house versus network where we amplify each other. That's beautiful, Joy. We are totally on the same page, baby. Digital noise versus in-person energy, love it. Not trusting self versus standing in my truth so people can see me clearly. Cool. See how relatable that is, everyone? Because she's spoken to the light and shadow. Thanks for sharing that, Joy. Be real, people. Speak to the light and shadow and people just get it. Cool. So this should all be unearthing more and more what your 12 cycle intention is all about. I'm going to go into that next. So just so you know, the 12 cycle intention goes in the center here of this page. That's what you write in the middle here. We'll do the quadrants later, but right now it's just what goes in the center. Hang on, we'll go back to that. So my 12 cycle intention is to create to build the creation dream team. So I'm not working on my own anymore. I've got amazing people by my side to create with, and it's so much more fun. So that came through, well, bold and strong a few months ago, creating the creation dream team. So what's yours? Nice and simple, short and embodied. If you can't feel your 12 cycle intention, then you ain't quite there yet. It should just have this feeling of pow in your body. Yep, that's it. It just lands. Janet, procrastinating on my work as a starving artist versus creating abundance for myself and my tribe. Beautiful. Yay. Also totally in alignment with everything I've said. I love your intentions, Janet. Nikki, shadow, overthinking and researching versus breathe, pause and simplify. How perfect. That's bang on for you, Nikki, and your true brand. So what's your 12 cycle intention? Does there anyone know? Share it in the chat. So if you imagine the volcano, the lava's coming up, that's the light wanting to break through the old crust that's been established and there too long, it needs to be broken. That's the shadow. The two coming together creates the 12 cycle intention. When you have that friction of the two, the intention should just naturally rise. What's yours? If you don't know, if it's not coming to the surface yet, maybe you need some more friction. Maybe you need to feel this light and shadow in your body more of, yeah, this is that uncomfortable line for me. Terrifies me, but excites me. What is it? People often think that your intention for the year, like your annual business goal, needs to be something like measurable, like I'm going to make this much money this year, or I'm going to write this many books. In my experience, they usually don't quite, not that they don't eventuate, they work for some people, but for people really working at the body level, it's got to be a feeling. It's got to be something you can embody. You can't embody money. You can only embody what money gives you, affords you. So what's that experience? So bring it down to the body. Nikki, climbing to the top of the mountain and sharing my truth from my deepest and most authentic self. Wow. I love that. Felt it. That's your cue. If people can feel your intention, because you can, then you've nailed it. Joy, pure synergy, combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. I know and feel like souls are out there because there is great joy when I feel it. Woo, that's interesting. So the synergy of meeting other souls like you, is that essentially it, Joy? Cool. That's a beautiful intention. I can see totally. Oh my God, you're a whirlwind tree. Of course. I can totally see you doing that. It's totally in your bones. So as I mentioned before, the creator type, your creator type is going to give you a sense of what's behind your intention, is your nature. So you can always start there. Okay, let's keep moving. Please share your 12 cycle intentions as they come through. And just ask me if you're not sure. Is anyone really stuck on this before we move on? Got to get to your 12 cycle intention today. This is important. May not happen right now, but by the end of the immersion today, you want it to land in your body. Maybe you need a little bit of the nature break to do that, but got to land today. Okay. Next. From your 12 cycle intention, what seeds are you planting this year? Seeds are your creations. Your creations are your offerings, what you're offering in service to your tribe. That's essentially all that means. So write that question down. What are my seeds this year? Or what are my creations?
Nat, can I just add something?
Yeah.
I just remembered, just going back to the intention, something that you said last year that really helped me, that might help others if they've not heard it. You said like that statement is like idealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember something about that? Like it didn't have to be like super duper tangible or something. It was like sort of this like idealistic sort of thing, and that really helped me.
Oh, cool. So what's yours, Danny? Do you want to share?
Well, I'm close. It's something. It's going to be something like helping. Well, there's these key themes about unplugging from business, downshifting. So taking like downshifting is about adopting voluntary simplicity, taking less hours, and living a more simple life, and being sort of non-wasteful.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that kind of stuff. So I feel a call to that. And then the other parts that I've kind of got to weave together are something about helping people connect with their like holy cause and making that their work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's kind of like three pieces that I want to weave together if I can, but I haven't quite got there.
Okay, cool. So it's still integrating. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I
think it'll be a little. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say the light and shadow. Can you just explain the light and shadow clearly for us?
Yeah, I'm still working on that. So the shadow would be people just chasing income goals because they think that makes them successful. They're not really playing the whole tape through. They're just like, oh, I've got to get there. I've got to get there. But it's like, why? They're not thinking about that. You know, like, do they need all that money actually? They're not thinking about that. So that kind of thing. The other thing is online addiction is the shadow, and just, being wasteful with time, money, focus, whatever, because they're just chasing stuff, you know, and not really like being, they don't really know why. They think they know why, but they don't. So
that's really cool because all three of them intersect. Can you see that?
Yeah.
They all intersect.
Yeah.
The question of why are you doing what you're doing in the way you're doing it? Where is it coming from? Where is this action coming from? This online addiction, this the money focus, the whatever it is. It's like, what's the why?
I feel like it'll end up being similar. Like my last intention was really quite simple. It was like to share the message of slow business, and I don't know, something about reach people organically or something like that.
Cool.
So I think I can somehow bring this into a simple thing.
Well, that's a really good point, Danny, because each year you'll find that your natural cycle intentions kind of flow onto the next. Like each consecutive year is the next evolution of last year's intention.
Yeah. So it might even be something like to share the message of downshifting, because a lot of people haven't even heard about what that means.
Yeah.
And it's not that I necessarily need to wave the downshifting flag, you know, but I can still talk about it, you know, what that means. Yeah.
So if we link this back to your whirlwind,
Yeah.
whirlwinds whip up a storm. So
Yeah.
they create a movement. Yep, they create a
What was that?
flurry. They create a movement.
Yeah.
They create movement.
Yeah.
So they are the
Yeah.
leaders of the movement. So they create a flurry of interest and buzz around a particular revolution.
Mm. Yeah, and I definitely feel that. Actually, it makes me a bit emotional, like when I think, because it's like, yeah, a little bit scary.
There we go.
I wrote an article once. I think I've mentioned this now. That it was like success without six figures, and like that just went off. Like, you know, like it was, because people don't hear that kind of stuff. You know, they hear the opposite. Not only have they got to get to six figures now in 6 months, it's 7 now. 7 figures in 7 months.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
See how it's landed, because you're emotional about it.
Yeah.
This is the feeling for your intention. Like, it has to mean something to you. And as soon as you feel emotional, it's in the body. And it can germinate from the body. So also, the whirlwind.
You're going to make me bawl in a minute.
Ah, yeah! Oh, go for it, darling. You're in good company here. We're all feeling creatures in this group. Who gets emotional about their purpose and their why with their work? You get emotional when you tap into this, what you're really doing and what it means to people, what it means to you. If you don't ever get emotional about why you're doing what you're doing, then go deeper. Danny, also, I want to touch on the fact that whirlwinds are catalysts. So you writing that article, you catalyze new thinking in people and creating that buzz by being a bit controversial with that title. That's your thing. So what controversy are you going to write about this year?
Yeah, well, I do feel I only touched on that a little bit. My main message was quiet marketing, slow business. And so, because even now I'm kind of finding myself, just kind of going, oh, I've got to get some more income now. And it's like, hold on. Why is that, Danny? Why is that? Oh, your needs are met. You live a really great life. Like, I just have to keep bringing you back to that. It's okay to do that, but for what purpose? And to be clear on that, Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry. We needed to hear this. See how it lands. It lands when the meaning to you comes through. And then we all feel it. That's what we're all striving for here with our intentions. Is for it to land that way. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
See what words come from the body now. Cool. So Linda said you looked really passionate when you said people are just chasing stuff. There you go. There's some feedback for you. Jody, shadow of turning my back on my family, but then healing the rift. Whoa, that's a bit supercharged, Jodes. Right up your alley. Cool. Tracy, being in elements of control and not allowing. Yep. 2, embracing compassion and self-acceptance to heal and transform. Beautiful. Getting closer. So your light and shadow leads to your 12-cycle intention. This is mine. So you want to write yours or whatever words come to you, or even if it's a symbol or a drawing. Something that represents, okay, what's my intention from the year? What means something to me now? Cool. So when it comes to seeds, what are the seeds that are going to help to bring that intention to life. So for me, building the creation dream team, all of these link to it. All 4 of these seeds are about co-creation. The creator types are about co-creation. Then I'm bringing the tribe together in the immersions. The true ecosystem is an online tribe, and natural creator program is teaching people how to use the creator types in their own work. All linked. So this actually relates very much back to what Danny was saying, is people are doing all this stuff, but what's it linked to? What's the why? That's why we start our natural year with the why. What's my intention for the whole year? What's the theme of this year for me? And every seed that I plant, every creation links back to that. It helps fulfill that intention. Everything aligns then, and it becomes easier because it sits in alignment in your body. If you have one thing in mind about what you're striving for and then your seeds don't match up, it actually creates friction in the body and you have to apply force to make it happen. So write down your seeds. Even if there's only one right now, that's okay. And it can be something vague. It doesn't have to be a fully formed thing, like an offering yet. Something that you have the urge to create this year. And I emphasize the word urge because urge is urgent. And urgent means it's felt in the body. It's not in the head, it's an urge in the body. Like contractions, labor contractions. Nikki, becoming whole, complete with my shadow and light is what I've been sinking into this year. Lots of unraveling around coming home to the truth of who I am and being brave to show all parts of me. Woohoo, Nikki. More around my intention for self to step more fully into my business. So is this your intention? Are you slowly spiraling into the core of your intention? Jody, what was that?
Yeah, just being the deep thinker I am, I've been spending a lot of time writing notes to really consolidate the business and the direction. But I've realized because the business is so much a part of my own self evolution, I wonder if that's tripping up the actual evolution of my business and its own growth.
What, your evolution as a reflection?
Yeah, because I'm personally, me, the tortoise. I'm not the hare. I'm the tree that puts down the roots and goes deep. And so just the last week, I thought, do I need to step aside and be me for my own personal evolution to help stop my business kind of plateauing and not really evolving because I'm doing so much work on my own self?
Beautiful question. I'm so glad you asked, because this is a good reminder for all of us. So what often happens in business is we have our creation, the business itself, and here we are. Can you see me? I don't know if I'm in the shot. No. And here we are. And what happens is our fears create codependency and we end up sitting on top of our business like this. So when we go down, the business goes down and the money goes down. So whatever we're going through personally ends up intertwined with the business and it goes down. If you've ever been in a codependent relationship, you will relate to this. It's not much fun, is it? So this also applies to parents and children. When the parents stifle the child's path because they have all of these ideas about what that child should be doing in life and how they want them to evolve and grow, ends up stifling that child's blueprint. We can easily do that in our business. That's the codependency. Anyone relate to this? Anyone done this? And you'll know if you have, because when you are personally going through something, then your business also goes down with you. Or if you're stalling, the business stalls. That doesn't need to be the case. If you're able to separate out and release your fears and simply allow that business to keep going when you're going through something. And I've tested this many times. People have said to me, how is your business still going when you're going through all this stuff? For those of you who know me, last year was ridiculous. I had so many breakdowns in my world. I think a bomb went off in my world and catapulted everything in every direction. And the number of people who said to me whilst that was happening, how is your business still going? How are you still even running your business when all this is happening? And it was still going. Nikki.
So just to go on from that, for me, I do treatments. I stand at markets and sell, like I'm very much the person in the space and the face.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are unraveling personally, it's actually quite hard to detach, being in a very emotional soul, that I have to keep turning up. And sometimes with treatments, I sort of say I'm not available this week, because to me that's doing a disservice to what I'm bringing to the space.
Good one. Good question. That's another offshoot of this same scenario. When you're going through personal stuff and you feel challenged personally, are you still going to show up for your tribe, regardless of how you're doing? Unless you're actually compromising yourself and them, then you show up anyway. You show up in whatever state you're in, because even in your most vulnerable state, you can be a gift to them. And so many people circumvent this. They go, oh no, I'm not optimal, I'm not 100%, so I'm going to cancel, or I'm going to postpone, whatever. But the number of times I've shown up in an extremely vulnerable state and my clients have received massive transformation anyway, because I've just gone, you know what, universe? I got nothing, so you're going to have to work through me. I'm just showing up. And that's when the magic happens. So I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying this has to happen every time, because sometimes it is optimal for you to cancel or to back out of something. But just to really challenge that, because if we really get to the guts of this, humans are meant to live in tribe. If we lived in tribe, everyone would see us in every single state.
Yeah.
Good, bad,
Sorry, you've triggered me there. Thank
you.
Yeah, it's just I wear my heart on my sleeve, so my people do see me very vulnerable, but at times I think that's too much. But it's interesting who I'm attracting anyway. I'm attracting those people.
Yeah, Nikki, that's what's so lovable about you. That's actually what they love, is that you wear your heart on your sleeve, that you are vulnerable. You're such a humble person. They love you for that. So just be that, whatever state you're in.
Thank you. I'm going to mute now.
Gotcha, did we? That's funny. Yeah. Going straight to the heart of it. People just want you to be yourself, and sometimes when you're most vulnerable, that's when they love you the most. So thanks for asking, Nikki. I think we can all be reminded of that. Hope that helps. Cool. All right, how are we going for time here? Oh, good. Janet, a co-creator stand-in for you. My yoga instructor got a friend with similar teaching and approach who stands in when she travels. Oh, okay, so having a co-creator who can do your work when you're not available. Brilliant idea, Janet. And that's what we would do in tribe. So That's what we need to bring back, guys, is stop this whole silo thing and go, okay, so who can step in when I'm not available? How can I be supported differently by tweaking my business model? So for example, for those of you who know, I've run the Soul Business Blueprint for years now, and that's an established program that works, and I don't need to run it always myself. I can actually train other people to run it as well, using the same content, materials, whatever. And, you know, I receive a kickback from that. And then they also receive a whole new access to a different arm in their work, their existing work. So thinking like that, going, okay, so I've got these other creators around me. If I'm in tribe mentality, how do I make this work for everyone? That's what we're asking here, as well as me. So I'm not doing it the hard way. I'm not left to my own devices, having to carry my business alone all the time. Helen, stepping out of the shadow of fear into the light, consciously crafting work situations which allow space for my business to flourish. Ooh, I can see you digging into something there, Helen. I like that, creating work situations which allow space for your business to flourish. I know you've wanted that for years. Yep. So keep digging into that one. It's getting closer. We're spiraling into the core here of something until it lands. And it should either shoot out the tears or shoot out the fire. It doesn't matter what the emotion is, but when it lands, it ignites something. Okay, keep sharing, guys. This is really great to hear what's going on, what you're creating this year, getting closer. Next question for Aries. Write down, who are your key people? Because when you are planting seeds, you are planting them, essentially, in other people. You're planting them with people. So for those of you who've been with Sacred Business for a while, you'll notice that I've been doing this a long time. I talk about things way before they're available. This is coming. My God, I've been talking about my book for a year and it's still not here. But the point of doing that is when you plant seeds, when you mention things in advance, those seeds can actually start to germinate. They germinate in other people. People go, oh, there's a seed of an idea, or there's a seed of a creation that's coming. How do I feel about that? Is that something I resonate with? Do I want to follow that? Am I curious? So your key people are the people that you identify who may resonate with your seeds of creation, because you're planting your seeds with them now. The Creator Types program, which I decided I was going to launch last year, I started planting those seeds last year. People know it's coming. People know they can get certified in the Creator Types. It's not even here yet, but that seed in them has been germinating all this time. And I deliberately sense the people who may resonate with that. You're actually doing them a service when you do that, because you're feeling an urge in them, you're shining the light on it, and then handing it back to them and going, okay, so see how this germinates in you. Does that make sense? Has anyone been trying this? I think you do it, Danny. I've definitely noticed you doing it. The slow business way. So none of this stuff about big launches and, oh my God, bam, here it is. And I've got to like enroll 1,000 people in 2 weeks. And oh my God, I see these launches online and I just go, I just can't even handle it. Can't even look at it. It's just so hard that way. And people don't even know how hard it is being on themselves when they do this. It's just not the way nature intended. So your key people. So I call this the co-creative soft launch. So what I've just described is the hard launch. the rah-rah hustle, got to enroll all these people by this date, and the event goes off with a bang. If you want to do it in a less stressful fashion, go with a soft launch, which means there is lead time required. These little dots here towards the sun, which is the destination of whatever it is you're offering. These little dots here are your breadcrumbs. They are the breadcrumbs that lead people to the offering. So your seeds that you're planting, there's some examples there. You're planting them with key people. And then after they're planted with those key people, you have time up your sleeve to refine those seeds and go, what are these people sort of feeding back to me? Or what's their response to this? And what is this longer gestation time for these seeds teaching me about this offering? You have all this time to embody those seeds. And Danny, you've got a brilliant example of this. I think you said a full year before you birthed the business sanctuary, was it? Or 9 months or something?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't know that that's what it was leading to, but I can trace it back to, about 9 months. Yeah. And when I first launched the idea, I got like 4 or 5 instant no. Like, it was like, would you guys be interested in this? No.
Yep.
And I was like,
yep.
And then I was just determined. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go at this a different way. And I kind of let the idea go, really. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it this way, which was just monthly online classes. But that ended up taking me back to the original idea, because I guess I built that community. Yeah.
Brilliant. And you said the magic words, I let the idea go. When we detach from the seed of the creation, it can be what it needs to be in its own timing. We step back.
Yeah, and sometimes I notice that happens to me in a kind of a pissed off type of way, but the result is still good. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I had to get pissed off to let it go, fine. Like, yeah.
Yep, that's right. Pushes our control buttons, doesn't it? Oh, what do you mean I can't have it now? You know, it's like when we feel that urge, we want to act on it straight away. That's not always the divine plan, is it? So excellent lessons there. Thanks, Danny, for sharing. Nikki, I've been talking to my people about birthing the true seasons of life at my markets, and they are intrigued. Very clever, Nikki. Very, very clever indeed. That's exactly what I mean by planting seeds. So you're kind of just floating the idea with them, or saying this is coming. And they might go, oh my God, when? I need this by like next month. I need this now. Like, that might be the feedback, or it might just be pure intrigue, like you say, Nikki. Just, oh, okay, tell me more about that. That's a good sign of when the seed is starting to germinate, like it's landed and it's like, needs a bit of time. What this does is that when the offering eventually comes out and is available, it's not a shock. It's already planted in them. And in many cases, if it is resonant with them, it's an automatic yes. It's like, oh yeah, it's already in my body. Okay, that's a match. Let's go. Seen it many, many times before. I've also done it this silly way and tried to execute my urges at the time, and then nothing has happened. It's been crickets. So this is where business is all about self-mastery, isn't it? Patience, attunement, letting go of control. Rachel, 12 cycle intention to lead and aid others to ascension. Holy shitballs, man. Straight for the sky, Rachel. I love it. Rachel's a sun, so that's no surprise. It feels as though it's not quite solid. Okay, we want to bring it down through the tree trunk now, and see where it lands on the ground. That's good though. Lofty is good and completely on the mark for a sun creator. Aim for the stars. Being seen and visible, very sun-like as well. So yeah, I would say bring your tree in, providing for the tribe. How does that weave in to your intention? Coolio. So, in summary, Aries is your 12 cycle intention. One statement. The seeds you're planting this year and your key people that may resonate with those seeds. That's all you need to know for Aries. That's enough. If you do this, you're lining up your year very well from the outset. Okay. Next, we have a superstar. Danny, you're getting lots of airtime tonight.
I totally am, aren't I?
But this is good. It's so perfect. Because you're awake. It's not 2 a.m. So Danny is in our spotlight this month, this quarter. So each quarter we feature a different member for their brilliance and a particular offering that they want to share with the tribe. So Danny has a bit of a story around hers. Tell us the story.
All right. So first of all, I was trying to bring something up. First of all, where should we start? I'll tell you about the t-shirt first, of course, because that's what we're looking at. So I'm wearing it, of course. This is the Aim Slower Collective Code or Cosmic Code t-shirt. And this is actually one of the seeds. Yeah, one of the seeds from my last 12 months natural plant. So this time last year, I was like, yeah, I want to have a physical thing that, like merchandise that I could have in my business. It wasn't crystal clear that it was a t-shirt. I was thinking, it could be like a variety of things, mugs, whatever, you know. And I started playing around with some ideas. And it was all around because the intention statement was about sharing the message of slow business. So anyway, I ended up, my attempts at coming up with a design that looked good was not good, even though normally I'm kind of pretty good with design. But I thought, well, I'm just going to collaborate with someone. And this idea landed one day that I could get a light code designed that would hold the intention of slowing down and it would support people to slow down. So, you know, when they're wearing it, it's, going to be supportive to them. So I did collaborate with a energetic or intuitive energetic artist, she calls herself. And so we designed it. So it's called the Aim Slower Code because it relates to my story really, where I was always doing things fast. I expected fast results, but I even walked fast, have a fast menstrual cycle. It's all fast, you know. So actually the real brief, quick story is I was, a few years ago, or maybe about 18 months ago, I was on my bed asking myself some reflective questions that I had been doing for, a few weeks or months. One of the questions was, how can I bring more ease and joy into my life? And initially I'd started coming up with some ideas, but then I noticed that it had been about 3 days, and this question, I suddenly realized it was really irritating me. It's kind of like come to that question each day, and I was like, felt a bit irritated. So once I became aware of that, I closed my eyes and thought, okay, I'm just going to tune in. Immediately, these words came, aim lower. And I was like, what the total hell was that? Now, okay, it was in my own voice, you know what I mean? It wasn't like the voice of God, although I think it was the voice of God, but, it was my own voice that I heard it in. And I was like, what the total hell? Like, I would never say something like that. That's insane. but as I sat there wondering what the hell just happened, and eventually then started going, well, what would that even look like? What would it look like if I aimed lower? Then I experienced these, you know, bowls of joy, and I was like, wow, like I really viscerally felt it, and I was like, man, there's something to this. So that encouraged me to start exploring with what it would look like to aim lower. So I did that. My business changed quite significantly in a few months. Like I made a lot of ground. And then a new layer came in that it was sort of like, it wasn't actually so much about aiming lower in terms of having small goals all the time. Although, like, I think it's important to break them down. It was actually the pace at which I expected things to happen. But not only me, when I look around, that's everyone, right? We want overnight success. We see what people are doing. We want 6 figures in 6 weeks and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, right, it's the pace, of course. You know, so then it became aim lower or slower, yeah. And then I started, you know, just talking about that within my group and everything, and people really resonated. And so it's become a really important message for me. It's transformed everything. It's still my medicine. I'm still working with it, but I'm so much better than how I used to be. And even being part of this group, Nat, when you first talked about giving things time, I'm like, oh my God, absolutely. Because one of the ways I was so fast, it was like, I've got an idea, bang, it's out on a Facebook group. I've got an idea, bang, it's there. Like it was just constant throwing things out. And now that I actually don't do that straight away and I give things time to breathe and to incubate and to mature, gosh, my things, like they're so much better and they get, you know, taken up so much more readily. So, yeah, I think that's it, Matt. I think that's the story.
Oh, thank you. What a brilliant story. And Danny's really shown the example of having revolution at the core of your business message, brand. Like she's revolutionizing how business is done, the slow, quiet way. So clear. It's so clear in all of her marketing. That's what we're aiming for.
It's like, yeah, that revolution has to be a personal revolution, doesn't it? Yeah. First, I think.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's the thing. And then, so yeah, you can buy one of these t-shirts, guys, if you like. There's,
this is what they look like in different colours.
Oh, thanks for doing that, Nat.
I'm going to include the link in the email tomorrow. So if you want to check it out, it'll be in the emails, in the goodies email tomorrow.
Yeah. I would just quickly say that the picture we're seeing here is from, okay, it's a little bit crazy, but I've actually got 3 stores where you can buy this shirt, okay?
Oh, God.
Now, the thing is, this is my favorite store. It's called T-Mill. They are so, oh my God, they're like, they have organic teas. They're ethically sourced. It comes in this amazing brown paper bag that is like really tough, but it's made from t-shirt offcuts from the manufacturing process. Mm-hmm. It's got written on it plastic sucks, and so I love this store. The downside is, if you're in Australia, you're paying for international shipping, and you might not want to do that. But definitely check it out. That's the range that's available there. Below, if you're in Australia, you might want to, if you want to try and avoid, international shipping, go for Redbubble. Because they dispatch from Australia, but they don't have that green shirt. The third one along is a pink shirt. It's like a different range because it's a different store. Same device. Yeah.
So this is actually a brilliant learning for anyone who's considering developing merchandise as part of their brand.
Oh yeah.
Like, Danny, you're going to publish an article on this, like all the ins and outs of what you went through to do this.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned, Nat, maybe at some point as well, I will be doing something about merchandising your message. But yeah, it was been a steep learning curve. Like the design element, getting that together was like long enough. Do you know what I mean? But then it was like what I'm effectively doing is drop shipping, and
a lot of consideration.
Lots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it looks simple, and it is, but then you kind of realize, oh, they do it like that. Or, you know, these people here, they put my logo on the paper bag. It's amazing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Or,
so
let me show you. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, show
Hold
us.
on. I know that we're using up time here, but let me just show you.
Oh, that's brilliant. Wow. That is so cool. So, Danny,
and this design
yeah,
tells the story itself. It's amazing.
I'm curious to ask, for someone who's gone through this transition of, you know, you're a marketing coach and you've been doing, you know, you work in the virtual space, online, all remote, and now you've got a tangible product. What have you noticed the difference has been for you or for your business in landing in that way?
Yeah, and I went to say that at the beginning. I don't think I did. So thanks for saying that, Nat. That's the whole reason it ended up as a seed, because I thought my business is so virtual. I want something tangible to bring into my office. No, I feel like I'm getting emotional again now. Thanks, Nat. But it feels joyful. It feels joyful.
Awesome.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, it does. I mean, okay, I can't stop talking about this one because they align. God, so Nat, they align so much with my own values, you know? Whereas those other stores, they're just like, oh yeah, they're okay. They look good. The sites look good, but they come in plastic bags. You know, there's nothing, there's my logo's not on them, you know, like. So when I found these guys, man, I was just like, this is fucking cool. Like, yeah. Right.
Thank you, Danny. You have also demonstrated to us what it looks like when you create from the body. Because this really means something to you. It's close to your heart. You've embodied this beautifully. So clear.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll say is, you know what, when I was going through this process, I actually didn't care if anyone ended up buying one, right? It was like, I'm doing it for me, really doing it for me. And I was just so excited to get this up. And now I've got a few different t-shirts. I've got a pink one, I've got a blue one, I've got a grey one that's pretty big. It was too big. I just wanted to see what the size was like. So I wear that as a bed shirt sometimes. And it feels so good to wear it. It's also really good to wear during, you know, just before menstruation, during menstruation. It just feels really nice, you know, and it's like, even if you don't believe in light codes, light language, sacred geometry, whatever, it's like, what I believe in is the intention behind it.
Yeah.
The intention is strong. So, yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us. And
Thank you for featuring me.
And Janet has already bought her shirt. So this is the cross-pollination between tribes that I just love.
Yeah. Thank you, Janet. Actually, I was just, I don't really get notified when people buy. There's sort of like a little bit of a separateness there. But I did go into the T-Mill store and I did see a Janet. And I'm like, who's that? I only saw the first name.
Yep.
And it was interesting because on the call, when I saw there was a Janet, I did, I wonder if it's this Janet, you know. So thanks for letting me know, Janet. Yeah.
And there's some very encouraging comments there for you to read, Danny. So
and can I just ask, Janet, have you received yours yet?
No, we wait really long for international deliveries to South Africa, and I might have to phone douane, where the shipping comes in. I need to perhaps phone them. South Africa, things go out quickly, but coming back in is very slow. I might wait like 2 months. So it is slower timing.
Patience, man. Lucky woman.
Yeah. But I knew that when I bought it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think you got the blue one, didn't you, Janet?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the green one as
cool.
well. So I'll see how long it takes and then buy a green one as well. They're beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So keep an eye out.
Take a photo of it, please, when it arrives and everything. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
And keep an eye out for email tomorrow with the link. And Danny also has a free audio book that she's sharing exclusively with this tribe. So I'm going to include a link to that as well, but we can't go into that right now, Danny, because we've got to have our break. But
Sure.
Keep an eye out for that. It's a free download. Thank you so much, Danny, for your contribution. Okay, let's move into nature time. So this is where we're getting to the earth element of your business. How is your business earthed? What does that actually mean? Well, there's a few ways a business can earth in your body, and on the land. So your creator constitution helps to earth your business, your understanding of your physicality. That holds the seeds of your new creations for your business. Also, we earth our business creations on the land in physical locations. So being out in nature, wherever you live or wherever you want to plant your seeds in nature matters. It all helps to bring it down to the earth level. So many businesses are hovering above the surface of the earth. They're not really plugging into the earth. And the reason why this is important is because when your business lands in the soil, it can then naturally germinate and it can support you, and you only have to meet it halfway. You don't have to do the force beyond 50% to 100% to make it happen, to make your livelihood. You just meet the universe, you meet the earth halfway. And this does actually work when your business lands, when your creations land. How else do we earth our business? Well, through tribe, through our connections with each other. And tribe is not just being part of a group. Tribe is about giving, sharing, exchanging ideas, resources, you know, like what we've just done with Danny, her sharing her ways with the tribe, and she's given this gift as well. And, you know, Janet's bought a t-shirt. Like, that's an example of tribe, how tribe functions. And in order for tribe to function, you actually do need a defined group of people who are committed to a value system or a way of living. And therefore that connects them. And they can start to build those relationships. So all of these things contribute to you earthing your business. And the more you earth your business, the easier it gets to create and to be supported. So we're going to have our nature time now. And it's a guided time. You can have a toilet break, bite to eat, whatever you need to do, but still being connected to what it is you're creating in the next few months, what your 12 cycle intention is. Ideally, just go outside and sit, take your notebook with you. Even if you only get half an hour of the hour, that's cool. But just some time outside. And in this time, there are 2 questions to ask. 1, what would you like to receive this year from the universe, from the earth, in support of you? What are you asking for? And then what will you give back? What are you willing to give back in exchange? We take so much from the earth every day, but do we always remember to give back, give thanks? So that is your intention for the next hour. So I suggest putting an alarm on your phone. We're going to take a full hour, so we'll come back at 10 past the hour. Oh, sorry, I better not say that because I'm in a weird half-hour time zone thingy. Anyway, we'll be back in exactly an hour. So pop your alarm on and we'll continue with the next 2 cycles. All right, so I'm going to leave this Zoom open because we're still in the energy together. So we'll be here when you get back. So enjoy your time, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I seem to give a lot and not receive much back. So the huge message from nature, as I set out in my back deck, was you've got to put yourself first. And you don't give anything else now out for free. You're done with that. And to value what you offer. And basically my message is I've gone through shit and I've come out the other side and I'm okay. And basically I just want to help people. So that's it in a nutshell. So, you know, I'm here to serve, and it's so funny that I'm connecting with you today because I had this business call with this business coach in Singapore who had all the language, all the bells and whistles. And what caught me was what you need to put out there is the value of the transformation that you offer. So it's not necessarily the tools I have, it's the valuing the transformation that you give to people. So that was the first language, you know, I loved her language. And I hadn't thought about that before. So I hopped on a call with her. And even though I can't afford it at the moment, to work with her was $12,000 US, and that she'd be able to jump me from this price point to that price point, charging $6,000 for a program.
Oh.
And okay, and I said, well, that's wonderful, but I don't have the money. And I said, in good conscience, I can't give you $5,000 today. I just can't do that. I don't have it. And I said, and I couldn't do it to my husband. You would just have a fit. So she said, well, how about you give me $1,000 today, and then, you know, blah, blah, blah. So then I went, it was all gut instinct. I loved her language. She got me in. And then I pulled the pin. It was all instinct. I knew I was doing the right thing. But then she said, you are operating from a fear-based scenario. And she's just sent me an email. She sent me an email that I'm operating from a fear-based, and I burst into tears and I went, you have got no fucking idea what I have gone through to fucking transform my fear so I can step forward and be a service to this fucking planet and to the people who I love and connect to people of a like-minded thing. You have no idea who I am. And I have so struggled to find a network. And then I'm listening to all the girls here in their language, and I feel at home, because the only way to move through this stuff is to slow down and connect and integrate what we know, love, trust, and believe. And so I really want to send her an email going, fuck you. That was just not fair. Just not fair. So anyway, that's what the tree said to me today.
Amen to that, sister. Amen to that.
Pissed off and just hurt. Just, you know, it shouldn't be hurt so much. I shouldn't invest so much into it. But I'm at a crossroads in my business now where I know my shit. It's articulating the message and planning and strategy and trying to juggle kids and business, because both my kids have learning stuff, so they demand a lot from me. So there's a fear of consistency, of not continuously delivering. And so after today, there is no fear. I just have to build a network. That's it. So I'm done doing this on my own and attracting people who want 12,000 US. Thank you very much. And telling me I'm operating from fear. And that's crap.
Bravo, Tracy. Thank you so much for sharing that. We can all do with that reminder, I think, the sobering reality of where many people are at in business and how they're operating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tracy, can I just ask, did you know how much it was going to cost to work with her before you got on a call?
No, I didn't.
I just wrote about this, right? I just wrote about this. It's total bullshit how people do this.
Yeah.
But it was, the energy, I mean, you could feel the frequency of her energy, and that's how she pulls people in. But, you know, I got really strong instinct and guts and stuff, and I just went, no, this is not happening. But at the same time, it was after the language, the email I received after, that has set me off. And then not only that, I blog for certain digital magazines here in Perth, and I've realised I'm in the wrong. I have to just shed some stuff and get clear on what I'm actually doing and offering, because I think I'm trying to give to receive in a way, but it's not coming. I'm not coming from the right space. So now, after this whole day, I think it's all been about owning my value and what I offer. And so if you want something to land in your body, it's just love and health and hope and light, and that's it. I don't have anything else to give other than that. So I'm sorry, but fuck her. It's not fair. Anyway, but, you know, how many did she... Anyway, it's none of my business. So I'm really grateful for that lesson, but
Thank you for sharing that, Trace. And also mentioning your network, how important it is to just not do it alone and to be with people who share the same value system as you do.
I can't be
right now. And that's a classic example of a clash in values. The grind. Yeah. Thank you. We're going to talk about values now, actually. So perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Good to have you back, Tracy.
Oh, it's good to be back now, love.
Perfect timing. Okay, all right, let's keep going. Thank you for those of you who shared your experience of giving and receiving. This is something that we can all do anytime. Just taking the time out, going, okay, so what am I actually, at the heart of it, what am I asking for? Instead of all this hustle and action and planning and all that, what's at the heart of what I'm asking for? So simple. And then what am I giving in return? Beautiful. All right, let's go into the next bit. Here we go. So we are now moving from Aries into Taurus, and Taurus relates to soil, the soil creators, who are exceptional at planning and organisation of resources for sustainable growth. So they are the slowest movers of the entire 12 creator type system. So I think we have some soil. Priscilla's not here. Helen's here. We have one soil creator. Any others I've missed? No, I don't think so. So soil creators are brilliant at stability, long-term growth, and they're incredibly resourceful. So they plod along and they build the bricks, and that's why the icon here has the stones on top of each other. They're builders, one brick at a time, one stone at a time. So as long as they have a plan, they are brilliant at creating something really solid and something that stands the test of time. So when we move into Taurus, this is what we're tapping into, these qualities. What does that mean? Natural resources is working at the ground level. So resources are mostly physical or tangible resources that we can use to grow. That's essentially all it is. That's what this cycle is about. How can we be more resourceful? It's also about having milestones along the way so that we have our 12 cycle intention, but then how are we going to get there? How do we know that we're on track to getting there so that we don't get to the end of the year and go, oh, what actually happened? I didn't make it. How many goals have we set like that? Set a goal and just it passes you by? This is where milestones come in. This is where I put my project manager hat on and go, okay, so how do we know we're tracking well? Unique value. So Tracy opened this topic up. What is the value that you provide that no one else does in the marketplace? Because Taurus is all about, well, what is of value? What is something that I can taste, feel, touch? That's what they want to know. So do you know that about what you're offering? Can you explain it to people? We're going to touch on that. It's about taking strategic action. That's where the milestones come in. So it's not just about doing stuff, being busy, filling our days. So we feel satisfied each day that we've done stuff, but where's it actually leading? That's where the strategy comes in. And using what exists. This is about being resourceful. So not reinventing the wheel, not having to do it the hard way alone, but looking at all the resources we have and the resources that our tribe has, and how can we tap into that? How can we give and receive as part of that network? These are the principles of natural resources. So I'm going to talk about very briefly strategies. I'm not going to go into this in depth because this is something that generally comes out when I'm working one-on-one with clients over a 3-month period. We devise strategies that are personal to them and where their business is at in terms of their stage of growth that help to guide their actions throughout the whole year. The strategies that you see here are general to any sacred business or business by nature. Because people often ask me, well, what's actually different about a nature-based business? This is exactly what's different. So these kinds of strategies, planning your annual uptime and downtime by the cycles, by your nature. Things like having multiple branches of income so that your revenue is sustainable over time. Co-creating with other natural creators to enhance your output. These are just principles or strategies that we have in the back of our mind as we're creating. So these strategies define a business by nature, a sacred business. So if you bought the Natural Cycle Planner, this is what this is. It's a printout you can put on the wall. So it's a reminder. Am I doing business this way, or am I doing it the old hard way? But when it comes to your business, there are particular strategies that you might start to uncover throughout the year. So for example, these are just examples that I've used in my business and my clients. So for example, one of the strategies might be repurposing your existing content. So that becomes an overarching theme for the year. Oh, okay, so I have all this content that I've created in previous years. My strategy for this year is I want to use all of that. Very resourceful, by the way. Repurpose your existing content. That's one example. Another example is if you want to incorporate alternative currencies in your business this year. So this might be a strategy that's particular for your business based on your intention for the year, based on your tribe, what stage of growth you're at, all of that. So therefore, your actions throughout the year come back to this. Oh, okay. So I've actually got to do stuff to make this happen. Again, gosh, this is something that came up with a client, is actually releasing their social media posts in bursts rather than consistently every day, but doing bursts. So maybe 1 week a month of social media posts rather than having to just sustain. That was based on her creator type. I think it was you, Joy. Based on her creator type, well, whirlwinds they have their energy come in bursts, versus a soil creator, by comparison, they're methodical. So they would be much more suited to sustained release of that content, keeping it up every week or 5 days a week or whatever. So this is where your nature comes into play. Really important. You don't want to create strategies that go against your nature. Or also the stage of growth of your business. You don't want advanced strategies if you're at seed stage. This is why this stuff matters. It's your guide for the year. This one was one of mine, creating experiences that gather the tribe. That's why we've got the virtual immersions. That's why we've got the natural creator immersions in different locations. Bringing the tribe together physically was one of my overarching strategies. So I created offerings from that. So this is just to give you an idea. If you're into this stuff or you feel like you need guidance, you're welcome to, work with me personally on this. But it's just something that you can add to throughout the entire year. So you print off your own copy, and as you go, oh, okay, so this is how I do my social media, or this is how I need to manage my money that works for me. Pop it on here. Okay. Next, first question. What are your milestones for the year? What does that mean? Well, this is what this page is for in the Natural Cycle Planner. This is a new page where your creations are listed. So this is your seeds that we talked about earlier, and the milestones. So these are the things that you have to get done in order to fulfill that creation. So example, for the Natural Creators Immersion, the next one in October, these are the things I have to get done. So your milestones are literally tick and flicks. You can actually tick off that it's done. And then you can go, okay, that creation fulfilled and produce, it's out there. So it's as simple as that. Then we want to look at timing. We'll talk about timing in a moment. So what season of the year, or you can get more specific by month. And then who are your co-creators? Who's helping you to bring this creation into being so that you're not doing it all alone? So for me, I've this year, very exciting. From the next immersion onwards, Priscilla is going to be the immersions manager. So she's doing all of the coordinating of the immersions. So I'm just doing the facilitation. So she'll organize all the catering, the venues, and blah, blah, blah. So that's a way of opening it up to co-creators. Who can I get to work in tandem with me? It could be a contractor. It could be a collaborator or a partner in that creation. Doesn't matter. Just think about who can help. So if you already know your creations, you can be writing them in the left column here and starting to break down those milestones. So another one of my creations is the Natural Creators Program, which is teaching the creator types to people who want to use the system. This is what I got to get done. Lots of stuff. When am I doing it? In spring. And who are my co-creators? So they're contractors, but they're part of my network. So again, really good reminder, when you're looking to co-creators, whether they're contractors or people with different specialties to you, look to your tribe first. Don't Google, but actually go, who do I know? Or who's part of my network that I can tap on the shoulder and go, hey, let's work together, or can you help me with this? Keep it within the ecosystem. That's how you strengthen each other at the same time. Is this making sense? Is this clear? Is this all sort of filtering down? Good. Nodding is good. Excellent. So this is supposed to simplify everything when it comes to, what are my milestones for the year? Map them back to your creations, to your seeds, and then go, what's the timing and who am I working with? Okay. That's something you can work on later, because next we're looking at timing. What does that mean? We're looking at the next page in the Natural Cycle Planner. As I said before, your 12 cycle intention goes in the center. If you don't have this printed, don't worry, just do your own drawing with your quadrants. So building the creation dream team is my intention for this year. So that means it's very visible, it's front and center, you can't forget it or ignore it, and you're seeing it every day. That's why these are designed to be printed, because every time you see these words, or you can use drawings if you're into that, it's reinforcement. It's like, oh, okay, yep, this is my why, this is where I'm going, this is my direction. So many people go off on tangents throughout the year and go, how on earth did I end up here at the end of the year when I started here? They just don't match up. So this is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to create this theme, this thread throughout the whole year, land it in your body so it just unfolds naturally. At the same time, getting all the junk out of your head and organizing on paper instead of in here. Okay, next step with timing. Those of you who did the Natural Creator Plan workshop recently, good, Janet's got hers with her. Awesome. Most of you, I think, did this. If you haven't, I will send the link in the goodies email tomorrow. But if you haven't been, don't worry about this part. If you have though, you might want to add this to this page. So this is where you actually want to put your uptime months in the quadrant that is relevant for you, for your Natural Creator Plan. So we identified seasons and months for your uptime. This is again, so when you're looking at timing for things, you go, oh, okay, so I want to concentrate my major events and launches and whatever of creations in my uptime. And in my downtime months, so for me that's summer and winter, I want to be preparing for those big events or those big creations. For example, major events or outcomes for me, I've put a little star next to them because they're outcomes. Publishing the book in autumn. In spring, the October Immersion and the Natural Creators program is launching. So that's why they're in those months, because they're my uptime months by my nature. So for those of you who don't know about this, this is by your creator type, your astrology profile, and the stage of your business. This is how we derive this uptime, downtime timing. Then other stuff can go elsewhere. So for example, in the downtime months, I'm actually going to be building a website. That's not a major launch. The major launch is the program that comes in spring. So you're spreading things out throughout the year. You're really mindful of this up and down, the flow of nature, of your nature, that you have uptime, downtime during the year. My God, when I first started Sacred Business, I thought, well, I didn't even think about downtime. I was just uptime all the time. No undulation at all. And it wears you out year after year. Not how nature works. It's not how we work. So in your downtime months, you're in preparation mode for your uptime. You're doing the back end stuff, really. So this gives you a feel for how you're going to shuffle this stuff around based on timing, by your nature, by your milestones. Is this making sense, everyone? Please ask if you have questions. I don't want to keep going if you're not sure about anything. Cool. So now you know how to use this one, actually all three. Cool. Now we're going to look at unique value. So again, Taurus is about, okay, what's the value that I'm offering? Where do I really sit in the marketplace? So three things define your unique value. Your value system, so your key values. Values can be things like simplicity, balance, wisdom, abundance, etc. You need to know this because that underpins where you sit in the marketplace. This is your footing, your foundation. What are your values? And you don't want millions of values, 3 tops. You can have values for your business in general, and then more specific ones for particular offerings. Points of difference. What's different that you're offering that no one else offers? Let people know, be clear on that. And benefits. So here's a couple of examples. So the creator types, there's value statement for the creator types or the value proposition. It's body-based. That's the point of difference. Most profiling tools are not. Body-based and nature-based. The benefit is finding your natural creation style. And the values are efficiency and fun. Simple. So when you're creating something new, it's very good to define these 3 things. If you're creating a new offering, what's the value, the unique value of that offering? These 3 things. Again, with Sacred Business, what's different? It's an alternative business school. So it's not teaching mainstream business, it's alternative business. Well, that's also a benefit. Laws of nature, based on the laws of nature. So that's also a point of difference. And values are simplicity and true abundance. So I'm going to pause here because the idea is that you actually apply this now. So see if you can actually write down these 3 things for either your business or a new offering or an existing offering that you have. And share it with us in the comments. Let's hear it. It doesn't have to be in a perfect statement like this. Just dot points, values, benefits, point of difference. Let's hear it. And if you're not sure, unmute yourself and ask me a question. All right, who wants to share in the chat? I'm doing it too for the True Ecosystem. I'm going to share mine in a moment. Okay. Oh, you're all very quiet. Did this one stump you? No, Janet. My values are connection, care for our species and ecosystems, offerings to create appreciation, educate and inspire people about conservation of Mother Earth. Points of difference, main inspiration and guidance is nature. Cool. So what are you educating and inspiring on, Janet? Is it to do with your art, like producing?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so it's through art and workshops and a little booklet of my own poetry and art that will come out probably November or July, if I look at my uptimes. But yeah, it's a combination of products as artworks, but also workshops. And I've been giving talks about climate change.
Wow, I remember we talked about this last year. Combining.
Yes, about the workshops. That's thanks to you.
Yeah. Wow, you're doing it. That's cool. Yeah, it's a very, very smart strategy. So again, strategy for an artist who creates products essentially to combine a service, an experience. This is going to become more and more of a feature. Age of Aquarius, it's all about experiential learning, so they can get an experience of how to do nature art, or what is it exactly, Janet?
Yes, there's different ones. So some of them are just making art with nature in mind. So not just mindlessly using materials that does a negative impact. But then we also do, or I've also facilitated workshops where you go into nature and make land art and connect with the land. Everyone has to sit a little bit and meditate and just listen. And then, of course, what I also do, but which is a service and a product, is environmental illustrations. So illustrating complex concepts of ecosystems, of carbon sinks.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. I love it. So there's a very unique offering. Yeah, you've done it, Janet. Good for you. So interesting when you also start to combine products with services. Nikki's gone, but I know she's doing this because she produces handmade beauty products, and she's also running workshops to teach people how to make their own. So very, very smart indeed. Thanks, Janet. Good for you, darling. It's so good seeing things come to fruition like that. Danny, the business sanctuary, simplicity, rest, courage, permission to slow down, unorthodox business and marketing practices, good for the soul. Awesome. I love it. Brilliant. Very clear indeed. Linda says, for my business as an accountant, integrity, non-judgment, social justice. Point of difference, don't do tax. I care about money and can improve life, health, environment, and others. Cool. Benefits, experiencing clarity and feeling good about their business, financially thriving. Wow. Well done. Love it. Nice and clear as well. Have you been mentored by Danny by any chance? Okay. I'm going to add mine in the mix. The true ecosystem. Values are co-creation and futurism, taking us into the fifth dimension and what that means and involves in terms of raising our vibrations energetically and also on the ground, what that means in terms of changing the way we live. point of difference is it's a invitation only network, and also uses the creator types as the basis. So it gives people a sense of their role in the ecosystem. Helen, values, honesty, she dance. Oh, that's a new name. Cool. Honesty, creativity, release. Oh, I love that. That's so up your alley, Helen. Awaken the dancer within, release energy. A conscious dance style to tap into your creativity to explore movement possibilities. That's awesome, Helen. That's like the best one I've heard from you in all this time. You've totally nailed it. Good for you. That's been a long gestation, hasn't it? Helen's a soil creator, so we need to allow that time for things to land. But when it lands with the soil creator, it is solid. That's the beauty. When you understand these soil creators, that's what happens. When it lands with them, it creates solid ground, and everyone else can walk upon that ground. So they're the last to land, but also allow the next cycle to open up and continue from there. Janet's coming from South Africa to your classes, Helen. I love it. Cool. All right, let's keep moving. So this is it in a nutshell for natural resources: milestones, timing, unique value. So these, the pages that you saw before from the planner, they're not set in stone. You're going to rub stuff out and move stuff around throughout the year. So they're ongoing. You can always print more if you screw it up, if you don't like using pencil. But yeah, just keep that in mind as you want to start it now. Start to line things up for the year. All right, let's go into Gemini. What does Gemini relate to? Whirlwind. No surprises there. These guys are brilliant. Actually, we have Danny in the group. Nikki's gone and Denise is gone, but we have also Joy. 2 whirlwinds still left. Rapid visualization and manifestation through decisive action. When a whirlwind decides on their destination, they get there the fastest. So we've just gone from the slowest, soil, to the fastest creator, the whirlwind. If they don't have a goal in mind, sometimes they can go all in different directions and not know where they're ending up, but they're very busy people, nonetheless. Magical qualities are adaptability, speed, and communication. So a whirlwind can move around any obstacle. And as I said before, they know how to whip up a storm. So this is why they relate to Gemini, because Gemini is all about communication. What does this mean? It means you've got to express your ideas. I know Danny does this really well. Actually, Joy as well. So we're learning from the whirlwinds. Here we go. They just share these little tidbits, you know, these little ideas that come to them and they share it. That's brilliant. That's what we're aiming for. Not sitting on them or going, oh, that's not really formulated enough, or no one would be interested in that, but actually sharing to create a bit of interest and curiosity. That's what buzz is. Buzz means that people are talking about what you're talking about because they're interested, they're curious, they want to share it. That's what a whirlwind does, whips up a storm of buzz. Feedback. Feedback is very important, and these brilliant communicators do this very well. So they're asking for feedback as well as responding to feedback. So people often think, oh, I don't have to ask for feedback, people will just give it to me, or they just accept what they're given. But actually, it's a real skill to elicit feedback from people. And constructive feedback at that. So there's lots of, we're going to touch on different ways you can do this and make it fun for people to give their feedback. And feedback isn't just survey forms, which we will talk about. We've got to be more creative than that. And then making sure that our offerings and whatever we're putting out there is actually responsive to that feedback. So there's no point getting feedback and then not changing anything. Really important. And learning new tricks. Learning new stuff, that's what Gemini does really well. So if I want to So just as I'm putting my ideas out there, I'm also learning from other people's ideas. It's a two-way street. What Geminis love, back and forth. Is this the time that everyone can harness the whirlwind energy? It is in the Northern Hemisphere. So again, the creator types relate to the seasons. So in terms of seasons, the Gemini is a spring creator. So you're going into spring. Hey, Danny. So yes, especially for you. But even in the Southern Hemisphere, it's not whirlwind time on the ground. However, we can still tap into that energy because that's what Gemini is about. It's just more relevant for the Northern Hemisphere in spring.
So can I just ask another question? What I'm thinking as I'm looking at this, especially because Linda's here, it's like, I don't want people to go, oh, well, that's why Danny can do that because she's a whirlwind and I can't because I'm not a whirlwind, you know?
Yep, good point.
So
how does that work?
I'm just trying to work that one out in my head.
Yeah, so this means that, so knowing your two primary creator types shows you what you do naturally anyway. All of the other creator types, you're stretching yourself to learn from those creators, to become more like that, to learn how they create, learn their strategies. So even if you're not a whirlwind, learning from a whirlwind is a really good idea. So yeah, that's what I'll say on that. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that was great. Yeah, even for me to hear, and obviously that applies to all types. You know what I mean? So that's yeah.
So the idea is that with the creator types, any types that you don't have in your constitution, just hanging around them, it rubs off on you. You learn from them naturally, just being with them. But especially if they've actually created a business specialty or they're teaching from that type, like you are, Danny. This is so up your alley. You've chosen marketing. Perfect. So you want to seek out the people who do this well, in other words, formally as a teacher, or just hang out with them. It does rub off. That energy rubs off. Janet, yeah, that pertains. So when I'm talking about these creator types, I'm just relating it to the energy of that zodiac sign. The creator types you see on the planet. I know this is confusing, but I have to do it universally because otherwise we're all over the shop in different hemispheres. If we were just teaching in one hemisphere, it'd be easier. So the creator types you see on the calendar pertain to the seasons, northern and southern hemispheres.
But with Taurus, it was soil.
Yep. So in terms of time,
which isn't on the.
No. So what I'm explaining here is how if you were to align a creator type with an like one of the signs of the zodiac, it would be soil for Taurus.
Oh.
But in terms
of okay. All right.
On the seasons, that's a different story.
I see. Okay, thank you.
It's confusing if you're not au fait with all the creator types and how they work with the seasons, but I know you are, so that should make sense. Cool. So, question. Write this down. What are you actually excited to share right now? Or right now in the coming months? And what excites your tribe? So this is the intersection of the two. What excites you? What excites them? If you do it one-sided, you're not being a very good Gemini. You're being a Gemini who does the scattergun and talks to people. We actually want to make sure that what we're putting out there is actually exciting our tribe too. Again, you can relate this back to your 12-cycle intention and your revolution. Like when you get emotional about something, that's like, oh, I really want to share this. So if you look at your 12-cycle intention, what excites you about that? What do you want to share? Might be a message, might be a story, might be an offering. Whatever floats your boat. And what excites your tribe? Well, how do you know what excites your tribe? Well, this is where the feedback comes in. You got to know, start to assess, okay, so what works for them? What do they love? How do they love to hear from me? What do they love to hear from me? What works? Oh yeah, what makes you cry or a deep sob? Absolutely. Anything emotive will do. I should say, what moves you to share, or what moves your tribe? So if we look at this, so purpose, what's the purpose of behind what you're sharing? What's the message? And how can you make it fun? That's where the buzz comes in. If you want people talking about your brand, you've got to add a bit of fun to it, a bit of curiosity. So some ideas. You want to think outside the box, think like a Gemini. You can have teasers, you can have catchphrases that people remember, you can have jingles and sing, or messages that are musical. Other kinds of giveaways. Using humor is a great one. Engaging people that way. Beauty can also create buzz. There's all different ways. So what works for you? So for example, with the true ecosystem, because it is one of the values is futurism, or it's futuristic in its approach. So it's about blending nature and how we live on this earth with the fifth dimensional way of living and frequency. For those of you who've tapped into that, it's a whole other world, but it can also be very ungrounded and off of the fairies and let's ascend and disappear off the planet. So that's not what we're aiming for. We're wanting to balance that with an earth-based approach. So one of the ways I've talked about the true ecosystem is talking about superheroes and becoming a superhero of the planet for the earth. Kind of like, what are the Power Rangers or Dirt Girl or any of those kinds of characters. So making it interesting, like not being boring about it, you know, like make it fun, make it a little bit quirky. I've also talked about aliens, because that's a real theme at the moment. Communing with the various aliens that's surrounding this planet right now. The Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Syrians, the Lemurians, the this, the that. You know, so make it outside the box, something different to what people are used to hearing all the time. The more excited you get and the more sort of you think outside the box, the more other people, either it piques their curiosity or it can divide them too. So you can actually polarize people, and especially if I start talking about aliens, then that definitely polarizes people. Some people are going to run for the hills. But that's okay too, because that can be one of your strategies. And for me as a lava creator, that's what lava does very well, is polarizes people, because they take a very strong stance on things. And that's actually true for other catalysts as well, fire and whirlwind. Yes, I have been talking about aliens, Danny, but not that much publicly, and there's more to come. Let's just say that for now. But I have definitely been talking about 5D for some time. And that has polarized people, especially I'm a business coach and I'm talking about 5D. Well, I must be, you know, bonkers. So, but people who know me and who know enough about the work know that it's actually very grounded as well. We are bridging heaven and earth here. So yeah. Got any ideas? Let's hear them. How are you going to make it different and interesting? Inspire us. Just told you about the aliens. What are you going to talk about? How are you going to put it out there? Helen, if they accept 5G, then why not 5D? Very well said. I should use that, shouldn't I, in my marketing message? If 5G's okay, then why not 5D? My God. So yeah, some people don't even know what 5D is, and yes, that's a whole other story. Joy. Stress Awareness Month. Excited to approach corporations to enhance their wellness through purpose tied to vision, which energetically raises the vibe. Cool. Nice. So I'm curious then, Joy, what would appeal to that tribe? So if you're targeting corporate people, how could you really push that? Mindfulness without meditation, I love it, because there's plenty of people who are just they have meditation fatigue. They're just like, if someone else talks to me about meditation or I should meditate, I'm going to.
And that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking was to have them, to appeal to corporates need to manage expenses such as health costs, but being aware that professionals are really busy because they're compressed to meet their sales goals or whatever it is. So with my work dealing with the subconscious and, eventually getting to the soul, engaging professionals by allowing them to find ways to bring their purpose to work. And when you automatically do that, you are raising the vibe of the corporation when people are engaged and they actually feel connected to their work, even though a corporation may not have at this time a connection to, a broader mission. When somebody is automatically self-actualizing, they do raise the vibe, and then that changes the whole relationship dynamics in the corporation. So there's a bit of an ulterior motive there, but it meets the business need as well as increase employee engagement.
Cool. And I like how you've branded it as, well, in a way that they can get straight away. Oh, mindfulness without meditation. Cool. They instantly understand that. Whereas if you start talking about self-actualization, they're like, what? Yeah. That's a really good example of kind of masking what your work is really about with something that's quite savvy and actually going to make a connection with the desire or the need of, or the desire more so, the desire to be mindful without meditation. Cool. That instantly hooks them in.
We hope so. We'll see. I mean, there seems to be interest in it, so.
So I would actually emphasize when you're writing about this, without in capitals, like, that's really important. This is mindfulness without meditation. Also, highly appealing to some, including me. Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Joy. Danny's saying, I'm thinking some new t-shirts with quirky sayings or catchphrases. Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. Cool. I like embrace your pace because it's just short and sweet and you get it straight away. Yep. And that's also yours, is it? Yeah. You can just put Danny Gardner. Cool.
I'm pretty sure it is. I hope I didn't take it off anyone.
Before you claim it, better Google. Yeah. Cool. Linda says, unorthodox stories in financial explanations. I talk about beer glasses to explain a person's financial capacity. Sweet. Baking and recipes for managing money, and eating out and ordering dessert to work out your pricing strategy. That's super cool. That's great. Wow. Can you pop a link to your website, or if you've got any info on that, because that's rad. Cool. There's some great ideas there. Excellent. Well, you're all on the money. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so Geminis love to learn. What do you need to learn in order to do this? So again, feedback is a loop. So when you create an offer, you want to ask questions, get some feedback, and then you go back and refine the offer. So every time you receive feedback, you're actually going back to the drawing board and refining. So my colleague George Cowell, who's also a marketing specialist, he's exceptional at this feedback loop. And getting feedback, he floats offers, and when they're not even complete, sees how it lands with people, and then goes back to the drawing board. And he does this iterative process over and over and over until he finds something that totally nails the market. So even though I don't have his stamina for that, because he does it exceptionally well, it's kind of his specialty, it's the same concept of, okay, so what feedback am I getting, whether it's formal feedback when you're asking a question and getting an answer, or if you're just seeing, oh, okay, so this post resonated really well, or this newsletter I sent out, they clicked on this the most. I've been observing trends in my newsletter for the last year, since I changed the format, and I create all sorts of links in my newsletter. So every time I mention the creator types, I have a link to that. Every time I mention true ecosystem or a new product, or I refer to blogs that I've written in the past, it's really fascinating to see what people click on. And there's a theme, what people are interested in. So I take notice of that. So sometimes I get, so for example, the interview that you and I did, Danny, on slow business, man, that got heaps of clicks. So many clicks. People wanted to know, they probably loved the interview format too. And it was obvious. I talked about quiet marketing and had a link to your website. So that in itself, that term quiet marketing, piqued their interest. They're like, oh, cool. That's not a term I hear every day. And also, it's totally compatible with my tribe. That's what they want to learn about. That's what they want to know. They're already into slow business, nature business. So perfect match. So feedback can come in that way as well. So look at the little ways you can just observe your tribe, what they're responding to, what they're saying to you. Yeah, exactly, Danny. Quiet marketing is like, what? Like it sounds like a paradox. So that's very smart, Danny. You've totally nailed it there. Because, and again, it's whirlwinds do this so well. It's like, oh, how can I make this appealing? Because whirlwinds get really bored, right? Really fast. We look at Joy's look on her face. She's like, So they've got to keep it moving. They've got to keep it interesting. So you can always rely on a whirlwind to shake it up. They don't let things go stale, and they do think out the box really, really well. So that's how they create engagement. They go, oh, what's a different spin I can put on this? Spin, whirlwind, see? Yeah. So there's all sorts of different kinds of feedback you can get. People think, oh, well, they think feedback, it's just about understanding what my customers want. Well, there's lots of variations of that. So you actually want to know things like, okay, so how can I better solve their problems? How can I improve how I'm marketing to them? Learning about your colleagues and what they're doing. So this isn't just learning about your customers, it's actually learning from your colleagues as well. Brilliant way of doing that is what Danny and I did. We just had a conversation and recorded it and posted it, but we learned from each other in that process, and our tribes benefit. 3 birds with 1 stone. That's smart. Okay, so yeah, lots of different ways. So you can get feedback through feedback websites like Yelp, real-time feedback, yes, so in posts and things like that. Ask, when you're getting testimonials, ask different questions, not boring ones, like, what did you like? What didn't you like? Actually go, okay, so something like random, like what superpower did you learn about yourself from working with me? You know, just think about something different that people don't hear every day. Cool. Anyone got any fun ideas coming to them on feedback? No? Danny wants to talk to you about your whirlwind burst posting. Cool. So very smart, link all your strategies and everything you do in your business back to your creator type. So it's easy. It's by your nature. Not trying to do it the hard way. Cool. So this is natural communication. What are you excited to share? And what excites your tribe? And what is it that you need to learn from them? So I'm coming to the end here of our virtual immersion. So we really want to tie it all together. And if you are wondering, okay, from here on, I actually need some more detailed assistance. This is a special just for members. I don't normally do one-off coaching sessions. Actually, this is, again, Danny's idea. Thanks for that, Danny. But see, this happens to me all the time. I often create new offerings based on what my clients actually ask for. They'll say, can you do this? Or can you create this program? Or can you? And so straight away I know it's, you know, I'm onto something. So that's where it really helps to, you know, build relationships with your clients and customers over time, because they will tell you stuff like that. And especially when they see you respond. So if they know they've suggested something and then you actually go through with it, they go, I'm going to do that again because I got what I wanted. So keep that in mind. When your customers see you respond, they trust you more and they're more likely to give feedback in the future. So thank you, Danny. This is a one-off session. It's to consolidate what we've done today. So if you need help mapping out your 12-cycle plan with your milestones, action steps, etc., we can do that, and we'll base it on your creator constitution. So if you're interested, just email me. You know where to find me. Cool. And I'm briefly going to talk about the true ecosystem, as I've mentioned before, but this is about creating a invitation-only network. As members of Business by Nature, you are invited to join. But the purpose of this network, and there will be an online platform which has very similar functionality to Facebook, but it's a closed network. So instead of having the barrage of ads and free for all on Facebook, where you hear from anyone and everyone, this is the people that resonate with same values as you, talking about the same stuff in the same world, so to speak. And also know their creator types, because this is really valuable when it comes to working with co-creators. As you get more and more into the system, you understand your type and the other types. You go, oh, okay, I know what I need right now. I need a tree creator for this, or I want to connect with a snow creator. And actually having a go-to place where you can actually literally look people up by their creator types. Very, very handy, especially in the future as we move into a whole different world, and Facebook will probably eventually die because people are aborting it very quickly now. Because it's just too generalized and people are wanting something more specific and targeted and true to their value systems. So this is kind of preempting that as well. It's also got the added value of you can search for any member based on their location. So you can find like people who live near you who are part of this system. So it's not just an online network, it's actually a location. Like, we want to actually connect people on the ground. So if there are events locally, then you can find your people who are in the same vibe. So that's a very brief nutshell. I haven't talked about the superhero stuff yet, but if you're interested in that, I will share more. Thanks, Danny. Yeah. So this is going to be big because it's not just me creating it. There's a council of 12 who are creating this whole system. So it's global and it'll be thousands of members, and it's designed to be big. So thanks, guys. Tracy's keen. Yeah, just post in the comments. If you're keen to know more, I will send you some info on next steps. Cool, cool. And Janet, yes, I'll share more about superheroes and aliens. Don't worry. Haha. Yeah, the superhero thing. Okay, now I've piqued your curiosity. See how I did that? Woo! I got my whirlwind on. Yep. So, so yes, I will share more, but you have to stay tuned because I'm just planting seeds right now. Yes. Anyway. Oh yeah, if it's $12,000 US, you're not joining, Tracy? I'm not going to do the price reveal until later. You have to get on the phone with me first and sit through a whole hour, and then I'll reveal.
I'll just totally get fucked. Sorry.
Get that up front. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you, beautiful people. You've been amazing. Have a wonderful 3 months planning ahead. If questions come up, please post in the group. Yes, Business by Nature is transforming. I have not been very present there because I'm slowly moving away to this other platform, but I still am there, and I will do stuff here and there until that transition completes. In the meantime, the newsletter is the best way to stay in the loop, the monthly newsletter. So thank you. Thank you all so much. It's always good to gather with you, and thank you for contributing to this energy and the good vibes today. And I'm going to unmute you. Unmute yourselves, will you? Because I can't find the button. Oh dear.
Thank you, Natalie.
Cool.
Thanks, Nat.
Thanks, Nat.
Thank you, darling. All right, I will see you next time. Mwah.
Bye, everyone.